What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into DLF. Today, we are talking through start or sit at the running back position for Week 7. It's Friday, maybe it's Saturday, maybe it's Sunday for you. We are talking through 4 of the more difficult running backs to rank, to figure out in Week 7. These are the guys I'm getting asked about the most over on Twitter. So again, if you have specific questions, obviously drop them down below in the comments, but also, shoot me a DM on Twitter. Mention me, comment on something, ask me a question there. I'm always looking to respond. I try to get to as many as I can before Sunday, so bear with me if I don't get to you right away. But let's get into it, guys. The first one on the list, it is DAndre Swift. Now, I am recording this Wednesday night. As of right now, he is practicing. He has the potential to play. If DAndre Swift is active, I'm going to play him. There is almost no way I sit him unless, you're looking at just an absolutely loaded contending roster, and you have a guy like Ramondre Stevenson who got thrust into more value, right? A player you didn't expect to now fill, your RB2, RB3 slot. Then sure, you can sit DAndre Swift, you can play it safe. But the majority of people, especially in redraft, and even some fringe dynasty rosters, you really can't take the risk of missing out on another big DAndre Swift game, right? We've already lost so much of his season, or a good chunk of the season so far. I'm going to just throw him back out there. We saw it a couple weeks ago before he went down. Even if he gets 10 touches, 12 touches, one, they're going to be, 3 or 4 targets. That's great. And 2, he's capable of breaking off a 50, 60-yard touchdown run every single time he touches the ball. And in this matchup against Dallas, while it's not like an ideal matchup, right? You're not saying, wow, automatic smash spot. With Dak back on that sideline and under center, there is a much higher potential for a shootout here, which could mean a fast-paced game, similar to what we saw in Seattle, with just a lot of work to go around for the running backs, the wide receivers, everybody involved. And if there's a lot of pass work, that benefits DAndre Swift immediately, right? That is what he's made his name on the last couple of seasons here. And I don't expect it to be any different when he comes back from injury, right? Is he going to get a full DAndre Swift workload, which is 15 carries, 5 targets? Maybe not, right? That is up in the air, absolutely. If he's active and you're getting, 3 to 4 targets, 8 to 10 carries, I'm going to play DAndre Swift. I don't care, right? He's a borderline top 12 running back if he's active this week. If you have him, put him into your lineups basically no matter what. Looking at the other side of this game, we're not going to talk Zeke. We're going to talk Tony Pollard. Like I said in the DAndre Swift bit, this offense is going to be more explosive. It's going to be better with Dak under center. There's no way around it, right? And that automatically provides a boost to guys like Tony Pollard, some of these secondary options, because you're probably going to have longer sustained drives. You're going to have more passing opportunities. There's just a lot more going around, more scoring opportunities. These are the type of things that Tony Pollard's going to benefit from, right? We already know he's the better pass catcher of the two. We know he's explosive. All he needs is a chance, right? He just needs to not face a ton of stacked boxes like he was with Cooper Rush to potentially break some big plays. And there's not a better matchup in the NFL, really, than the Lions, at least when it comes to breaking big runs, right? That is Tony Pollard's specialty. We saw Rashad Penny a couple weeks back absolutely torch Detroit long consistently. Is that a guarantee Tony Pollard does it? Of course not, right? He's going to have lower volume than a lot of other guys I have ranked in his range. But the big playability, the matchup itself, and Dak's return is what makes Tony Pollard a top 24 running back for me this week. I have him behind Zeke, right? Again, Zeke is still going to be ahead. He's going to see the majority of volume, even if he hasn't been great. This is a good time to play Zeke. But again, it's still good for Tony Pollard. Now, even with the Detroit Lions playing a ton of man, which typically you see a drop-off in running back targets, this game has a chaotic feel to it. It's just going to get out of hand and things are going to go haywire. And that's when you get those big plays like I've been talking about. So again, Tony Pollard, a top 24 running back for me this week, still behind Zeke, behind DAndre Swift, obviously, but a guy that absolutely needs to be in consideration for your flex spot or your RB2 spot this week. Moving on to our third running back here, it is the new Washington Commanders starter, Brian Robinson. Obviously, he returned last week. He didn't look good, let's put it that way, but he saw a ton of volume, right? He was the bell cow running back, even though it was a weird three-way split in terms of snaps. Brian Robinson saw the majority of the work, and that's what we care about, right? He has become a volume play. And even with that being said, I'm not throwing him into my lineups if I don't have to this week. The main takeaway from that game for me was, yes, Brian Robinson is the, quote-unquote starter right now, but also Antonio Gibson still looks like a better running back. I get Ron Rivera loves Brian Robinson. Clearly, right? He loves the big bruising running back that can, pound the ball in and, score from the 1 or the 2. That's great. That absolutely has value. But the offense just moved the ball better with Antonio Gibson. I still firmly believe Antonio Gibson is the better running back. But until Brian Robinson kind of shows me he's more than a between the tackles guy that isn't going to see a target, I'm probably not going to trust him, right? And when you're looking at the matchup, when you're looking at Green Bay, it's not a good matchup. It's not a bad matchup. It's just kind of there, right? But this game does have the potential to devolve into a just terrible game script for the Commanders. And if that's the case, you're going to see a lot of J.D. McKissic, probably more Antonio Gibson, and less of Brian Robinson in the second half if this game gets out of hand. So there's just a lot more concern around Brian Robinson's, game script proofness, we'll call it, his receiving upside, those types of things. He's really going to be a volume-dependent, TD-dependent RB3. I'm not really excited to throw him into my lineup. Some people may be stuck to do it, and that's fine. I get it. The volume's there. But not the week I am betting on Brian Robinson. And to close us out, we have another Robinson. It is James Robinson. Now, James Robinson gets the New York Giants, and that is a great matchup. I mean, they have allowed over 150 yards a game over the last 3 weeks, and really, they've just been beaten on the ground consistently, right? They gave up over 200 yards last week alone. So naturally, right, James Robinson, you got to play him. No, I don't think so. I don't want him near my lineup right now, right? You're looking at a guy over the last couple of weeks who has 30 carries over 3 games. He is averaging under 4 yards a carry, and I'm not a big yards per carry really matters guy, but when you watch James Robinson, it feels like it matters. He's just been kind of stuck in the mud. He's not breaking big runs anymore. That seems to be kind of gone from the first couple of weeks here. And again, he's splitting carries. He's splitting all the work with Travis Etienne, who's just been more explosive. He's been a better pass catcher. There's just not a ton to get super excited about. He's basically become Brian Robinson. Like, that's what this looks like, except he has less volume. He gets less opportunity than Brian Robinson does, and that is terrifying, right? Are you banking on a touchdown from, 13 carries, maybe 13 touches, 14 touches for a Jags offense that has not been great? I'm not going to make that bet. Again, could it happen? Could he find the end zone and finish as an RB2? Absolutely. I'm not making that bet this week. All right, guys, that is all I have for you. Again, if you like what we're doing, you like the channel, you like the advice, subscribe, questions, comments, drop them down below. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.